Hey guys, so we're back with a cracking race video for you today. Coach Dave GT3 Sprint has been at Indianapolis this week and we've been having some great races, this being one of them, but of course, as you can probably tell by the thumbnail and title, it didn't go exactly according to plan. We're coming into T1, which decided to keep it nice and easy early on the brakes. We've got a car on the outside of us, but we know we have the optimal line to the inside, so we're going to keep that position, run the car through, try to keep as much speed as possible. Lots and lots of Ferraris, as you'll see on track this week. Ferraris tend to run great around Indianapolis, very strong here. Speaking of which, the Ferrari ahead doesn't get the best exit from T1. We stick it on the inside here, we do have to get off the throttle a little bit, but we do get the position. We brake nice and early into here, but he comes back and just taps us behind. Not too impressed, as you can tell by the look on my face. However, we do keep it under control. Luckily for us, we don't spin. Keep the optimal line into the next corner and keep the position for now. And I say now because this next corner I usually brake at this marker board, but because I'm on the inside of the track, I kind of lose sense of where I am. I outbrake myself running out onto the grass. Extremely lucky I didn't hit the Ferrari on the way back in here. Not the greatest rejoin from me. You can see the number 14 gets pushed out by the Ferrari also. Stupidly, I think we tried to place it around the outside here. We had no place going there. We just left ourselves at the mercy of the cars behind. So number 11 runs through. He undercuts both of us. And the Porsche is right behind now also. This corner, it's very easy to outbrake yourself. We get extremely close to the 14 ahead. However, we just avoid any sort of contact there. My bad here. Turning on the Porsche who's on the inside. And he takes that position from us also. It's very easy to panic in this situation because we're losing place after place, but we decide to keep a cool head, try to just defend into T1 against this next Ferrari behind us, and try position ourselves so that we could get the optimal run out for the next lap and try to recoup some of these positions that we'd lost in what was a pretty chaotic lap 1. So we keep our position here, but we do get a tap from behind, runs us deep into this corner, which then lengthens that gap to the Porsche. Not ideal, and now we're defending against this Ferrari, two of them behind us, right on our tail. The Ferrari gets super close here, not the most ideal scenario having a car that close around this corner. He's not really going to be doing anything there except for spinning us, but luckily there's no contact. Brake nice and early into this next one, and then running out onto the back straight. Our focus is on that Porsche ahead. We want to try bridge that gap back. Coming to the end of lap 2, we've bridged the gap to the Porsche. We know we have the pace on him, and we've also got away from the Ferrari behind. Porsche dips 2 wheels in the grass here, and due to that and the fact that the Porsche is generally a lot slower on the straights than the Ferrari, he's kind of a sitting duck here. He doesn't go too defensive, parks the car in the middle of the road, but gives us ample room on the inside. So coming down into T1 here, we're looking out for the 400 marker. Brake nice and early, just run the car through, just make sure he doesn't have a chance to cut back. But that's another position taken, so now we want to focus ahead to the 2 Ferraris up the road. Lap 7 is where it kicks off again. You can see behind me in the rear view mirror, the Ferrari has also overtaken the Porsche, but the 2 ahead, position 7, the Ferrari, number 11 there, runs super deep in here, which kind of brings the pack back together. So the 2 cars ahead don't get the best exit. I don't want to get off the gas because I'm going to be at the mercy of the car behind, so I try to keep it on the outside here. With the setup I have running here, the traction is great coming through those corners. So I actually keep the speed here. You can see I'm level pegging with the car behind, and we actually get out faster than the 2 cars in front. Again, the car doesn't go too defensive on the 400 board. We brake. We do get a tap here, and we're going to reverse this because I wanted to see what happens here. And you can see behind again that Ferrari behind outbraking himself and running a little bit too deep. Runs both of them into that first corner too deep, which allows us to get away. But just in the back of my mind now, I'm thinking, okay, I want to try get away from that Ferrari because that's twice now he's outbroke himself into corners, and I don't want that to happen again. Now we're on lap 9. This is the first legitimate opportunity we get to try and overtake the 11 car ahead. Extremely close on pace here, and we have been now for the few laps we've been behind them. So it's not going to be the easiest to overtake at what is generally not an easy track to overtake in the first place. Coming up to the main opportunity here, he leaves a space to the inside, so we're going to have a look. But I think we should have been a little bit more aggressive on the brakes here. We were just afraid of contact, as was he, I think. So we timidly went into T1, left plenty of space there. What I sense now is the opportunity. I want to try keep him under as much pressure as possible as we go through these next corners. He parks it on the apex there, stops us from getting the run. Very smart move. We try to get the speed out here. This next corner is generally one where people try to outbrake and go very deep into the corner, but he gets his braking marker spot on, so we're just left behind. And coming out onto this back straight again, he begins to bridge that gap back out, and we begin to fall back and back just a little bit too far to make a legitimate move into any of the upcoming corners. So we're going to have to wait for another opportunity to come, which again we see on lap number 12 down the main straight again. We're actually a little bit too far behind him, but we want to fake to the inside. So we make him think we're going to go for a move, which he has done. He's gone defensive. We try to cut back, but because this second corner is so close to T1, it's very, very hard to get a cut back there. So he defends perfectly. We actually make a mistake here. I think we broke a little bit too late, panicked, almost slid the car, and turned on our windshield wipers for some reason in the middle of it also. Now lap 13, the pack is beginning to bunch up here a little bit. The Ferrari behind is super close, closer than he has been now for a while, and we just can't seem to get through or by the 11 car. He's defending great, and as I said previously, we're very, very similar on pace, so it's proving quite a task to get by. The front runners are well up the road, so P7 is the best we can hope for here. And at this stage, we're pretty deep into the race. We're on lap 13, so there's not many laps to go. I think there was 2 or 3 laps at this point, so we're just trying to keep the pressure on. We tease to the inside here. He just leaves us enough space, but that is a guaranteed shove and spin if I ever seen one. So we hold ourselves back. We try not to bring the car in too deep, but that has brought us further back towards the number 10 hung behind. We try to go a little bit defensive here. We don't want him to get any ideas coming into these corners, so we stick it to the inside, and we're just running as close as we can now to the car in front. So there was a white flag just up the road, but pretty sure that's been cleared by now. P28, a back marker. However, I'm pretty sure they went into the pits by the time we actually came around. So focusing on the front straight, really wanting to get a good exit from this second last corner so I can have a run on the 11, and also obviously keeping the number 10 at bay. We understeer out here though, as it's a bit of a characteristic. Once the tyres get a little bit worn on the Ferrari, I struggle, really struggle to keep it from understeering, and especially in those slower speed corners. So we're a little bit compromised coming onto the main straight here. Pretty much level pegging the whole way. However, considering the history that the car behind has at T1, I give it ample space to the inside, but in hindsight, not the best decision for me. It forces me into a tighter angle at T1, which then of course doesn't give me the optimal line out, and you can see how the car in front has pulled away and we're right back in the clutches of the car behind. He's right on our tail, 0.1 seconds in between us. Coming into this next corner, I want to brake early, keep the car in nice and tight, and don't give an inch on the inside, because if someone wants to take that, it'll most likely result in you spinning. So that's the last thing we wanted, so we wanted to keep it nice and clean. Very fair, hard racing the whole way through, up until here where you see, just like I did on the first lap, the car behind misses his braking marker by quite a bit. Well, it wasn't quite as dramatic as I made it look there. It was quite an impact, about 15 seconds worth of damage, but we didn't turn the car, which is great. We managed to run it across the grass and actually keep it going onto the last lap. You can see here, we actually finished in P8. Not too far behind the car in front. We did pull the gap back, but too little too late at that point. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you want to see more from the channel, check out this video next. I think you'll really enjoy it. And of course, before you go, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll catch you in the next one.